Ms.Rita Weidinger is the Executive Director of the African Cashew Initiative. Please put your hands together in welcoming Ms.Rita.
Thank you very much for inviting me here to this very interesting and innovative cashew meeting, which is really a honor that as an African development initiative we can join here with so many business people. You see, the African Cashew Initiative is very red, very powerful color to start with. And it is linked to the nut. The apple is linked to the nut, and that's actually the symbol I want to talk about in the sustainable supply chain model. I want to talk first a little bit still, although we have heard quite a bit about Africa's role and the potential in the global cashew sector, before talking about the African Cashew Initiative, what we believe are success factors of such an initiative, achievements, and we call it a cashew way forward. Regarding the overview, we have seen already from Kees Blokland a map, we have seen the INC map, where production is mainly in the tropical belt, the green countries when you look at it, Brazil, Africa, India, Vietnam, Asia, whilst the consumers in yellow, US, Europe, Asian countries, and very little consumption in Africa. So whilst Africa holds about 45% of the global cashew production, less than 10% is processed and hardly anything consumed, with a few exceptions, and I believe Nigeria will become the big exception with the huge market. We also tried an overview of figures. These figures are mainly informed by our industry partners, and I want to just highlight the countries we do work in the African Cashew Initiative: Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Burkina Faso, Ghana, and Mozambique. Looking at the figure of Nigeria, you see a much lower figure. This might be that the figure is old or the industry counts differently. I do not want to go into a debate. We do have in many of the countries data issues because cashew was and is hardly recorded. So sometimes we only have export figures which also include figures coming in from other countries, and that can vary over the years. So please bear with me that these are indicative figures. I highlighted Côte d'Ivoire, which has gone up since 2006 by about 4 times the production, now with 550,000 tons, and really speeding each year. This will remain a major dominating country. And we just had this year realized that the yield in Côte d'Ivoire, from initially about 300 kilo per hectare in 2009, is now already with 500 kilo per hectare. This seems a big success, and we do believe we have reached somewhere, although we still have a huge yield gap if we compare with Asia or Brazil. Where we do have higher yields, are highlighted also in red, is in Ghana. Ghana has started in 2004 with a cashew development program on research, strong aspect on research, information later on the net. One main dominating factor might be climate change, and jointly with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and SIAT and the International Center for Tropical Agriculture, there was a study done on how would the climate change influence the suitability. When you look at the left map, the green is the highest suitability for cashew. That is the current situation. On the right map, you see the green aspect is a suitability in 2015 in Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. These are the two countries where the study was held. That definitely gives an increase in cashew importance as an income source for West Africa. By the way, for cocoa, this looks inverse. So the cocoa industry is really jittery about these figures. Now, what is African Cashew Initiative? That's an initiative which tries to tackle all these challenges and transform them into a business opportunity along all the aspects of the supply chain. Production, increasing, and we have heard it, not only the quantity, but especially the quality. In-country processing, value addition in-country, both of kernel as well as of apple. The third aspect is the supply chain linkages, really to link Africa production, processing with international markets, buying and trading markets. And the sector organization, I think Lars from MIM in Ghana mentioned already these challenges with the policy issues, and our Nigerian colleague showed an example what can be done as incentives. This needs a lot of reflection and discussion on country level. This all is influencing the ACI vision. For 2016, 430,000 farmers shall increase their family income by about $600 per family. Because such an ambitious target needs a lot of partners. You see this public-private partnership here. The left side, the public agencies, I mean German International Corporation, I'm representing here Incashu from Mozambique is here. On the private side, Trade and Development Group, Kees Blokland has talked, OLAM, African Cashew Alliance as a business association, and from the NGOs, TechnoServe, I mean Jacqueline Powell has really revolutionized the technical assistance in that sector. But also, we work through matching funds with partner in-country processing and research organizations like MIM in Ghana, CITA in Cote d'Ivoire, Benin Gold, and the Trade and Development Group partners, just to mention some of them. Whilst working along the chain, this is a partnership of activities and actions. It's coordinated with country plans and country coordination meetings. We have increased the figure again. Since I sent you the short bias, we are now at $97 million in total since 2009. This is the total investment into these activities. Now, what do we believe are success factors to have reached 380,000 and more farmers? Really training on aspects and multiplier trainer 2,200, and then we train experts in each country and link them up in networks. 5 countries receive policy advice. Then there is regional networking, conferences, communication. And what has been mentioned here several times are also changed for cashew, but also for other commodities. And that has huge consequences and opportunities that we can get traceable product, that we can get better quality. But there needs to be a linkage also of the market actors, and there might be less trading partners. There might be closer linkages. So some of the actors will transform into other functions, either processing, and some of the processes in Africa have a trading background. Coming to the success factor on inclusive business, we need to look, if we have a package of linking with farmers, how does the farmer benefit? If we give them inputs, is the quality and quantity and the prices improving? If there's a traceability system, is there a premium? If there's pre-financing, how can that meet also other needs, etc.? So this analysis we do in several linkage programs. And the fourth success factors we have seen in an increasing efficiency and viability for processing and farming by reducing costs, increasing the return on investment and in-country value. That needs also